so that we have a good place. So I welcome you. Kisumu is a well-organized city, but we must have a well-planned and formal settlement. Hate me, like me, but you'll like me one day. Thank you.
A round of applause for Mr. Abala Wanga. He uses big words on a Saturday. It's only people in suits who can use such words like extrapolate. You, the brown one, what's extrapolate? When was the last time you heard that word? But you can use it in whatever way, depending on intonation. Atieno, usipoesha hizo nguo nitakuextrapolate, and it will also work. How's your? All right, we are quickly going through the program because our guest of honor has a function to attend. And so coming up next to the stage, we are going to invite the chairman of Gulf Cap Real Estate. Honorable Suleiman Shabahal. A round of applause for him. And as we continue, remember to use the hashtag Gulf Cup Real Estate. And LV Marina Launch. Karibu sana.
Your Excellency Raila Odinga, Your Excellency Governor Nyongo, Excellencies Governors wako wengi, so please forgive me if we don't go one by one. His Excellency, the Speaker of the East African Assembly, who is my boss, he's also here. Naona Majority Leader is here, Kimani Ichungwa, my good friend, Mheshimiwa Junet, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hinga is here, the PS of Housing. I want to recognize everybody who's here and to appreciate very much. But most important, I want to recognize the leaders of Mombasa who have come here, because I see this project as a partnership between Mombasa and Kisumu. Wajaluo have contributed enormously to the development of Mombasa. So now na sisi pia tunarudisha mkono. Si ni kweli hiyo? And I've got here the Speaker of the Mombasa County Assembly, the Honorable Harub. We've got the Senator of Mombasa, Mheshimiwa Faki. We've got Omar Mwinyi here, Simba wa Changamwe. We've got the Honorable Rashid Bezimba, who's also a very deadly politician from Kisauni. And we've got Mama Zamzam here. Where are you, Mama Zamzam? Huyo nasalimia baba nasema my sweetheart, lakini mimi kutoka Mombasa, you don't call me your sweetheart. Your Excellency, I have had 2 dreams in my life. 2 dreams. My parents moved from Pwani and went to Nairobi and lived in Nairobi for 40 years and paid rent for 40 years. And after 40 years, they went back to Mombasa with their suitcases and their furnitures after paying rent for 40 years. It is my dream that before I die, I have built at least 50,000 homes that Kenyans can own and say, this is my home, instead of paying rent. I know the president wants to build 500,000. Me, my target is only 10% of that. And if I can achieve that, the good Lord will forgive me for the many sins I've committed on this earth. Second thing, I grew up in a mtaa in Mombasa called Majengochura. We played in the streets. There were no playgrounds, there were no swings. The nearest swimming pool was a Muhindi school nearby that once every 3 months we could afford to go and swim there. But then I traveled around the world and I saw people living in communities that were incredibly beautiful. Playgrounds, swimming pools, sports facilities. And I asked myself, if they can have this, why can't we also have this? So I told our team that our philosophy is not to build houses. Our philosophy is to build a lifestyle, whether you are rich or you are poor, that your children will play in the best environment possible. I have seen areas in Dubai that look like forests, and that's in the desert. Now let me ask ourselves, why can't we do it here? If they can do it, we can do better. So we focus on lifestyle. And because of this philosophy, our company, all of a sudden, we're winning environmental awards, we're winning design awards. We even won an award in Namibia as the best affordable housing developer in Africa. And I think that's something to be proud of. For a new Kenyan company to achieve that, it's a testament to the caliber of people who work in this company, led by Chris Ochieng. And the one who's going to run the Kisumu project is Bernard. Where's Bernard? Bernard is also, there he is. You're also a Kisumu man, right? So if you do a bad job, we'll hang you here. So this is what we want to do here in Kisumu as well. We want to build an environment where from the lake, you will have the super luxury houses built on islands. And then as you come inwards, you can't get townhouses, you get small villas, you get apartments in a very nice buildings, but most important, you will get a lifestyle that is international standards. And we want everybody, not just Wadosi Ukombele, even the people who are living in apartments, their children have a right to go to swimming pools, to play on tennis courts, to enjoy the fields, to really have a good lifestyle. That's what we aspire for. And Governor, what I have seen of what you have done in Kisumu is absolutely amazing. You have inspired us. And I can see that my good friend Abala there, who's a fantastic speaker, sikujua hiyo, he has executed your vision. And you are setting an example for the rest of Kenya. So we are happy to participate in that vision. And I know, Governor, you asked me to come and build here in Kisumu first. But you know, charity begins at home. So lazima tuanze Mombasa. Tulianza Mombasa. It's a very successful project, and we're grateful for that. Now, Baba, I am grateful that you have entrusted us with this project. And we commit to doing our absolute best to deliver this thing. And what we have done is we have invited architects from Kenya, of course, but from the UK, from South Africa, from Turkey, and from Dubai, to come and do a design competition. And then we will select from the best. So what we will find here will be absolutely the best that we can get internationally. So Kisumu will change. And this project of this magnitude will create thousands of jobs. It will create business opportunities. It will create, you know, Mheshimiwa Rose was asking me, what's in it for my community? If 50,000 people are living here, even if you're selling tomatoes, you will find business. And surely in a 40 billion shilling project, there's enough business opportunities for everybody here. So I ask for your support. I ask for your prayers. Let us change the concept of how people can live. It is not only the rich who are entitled to live in a beautiful environment. Every mwananchi should be able to live in a nice environment. And that's what we aspire to here. Let us set an example. Whatever they can do, we can do better. Asanteni sana. Thank you for coming. God bless you all. And Baba, once again, thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Suleiman Shabha. He's saying he didn't use big words. We can organize for you tuition at Abala Wanga's office next week. He was just short of using the right words, but I like how he put it. Abala Wanga said, if you don't have resources, please live elsewhere. And Shabhala said, here at LV Marina, we'll have space for those who have resources, like the front row here, and those who don't have resources, like where? It's the second row. Nimewachunga sana back row. Sawa, mtakuwa na resources siku moja. Semeni LV Marina. LV Marina. Have confidence, it is a beautiful space. If you did not get the chance to go through the experience zone, please, on the way out, pass by there, get to understand how LV Marina will look like in the end. And of course, we've got a gift bag for you. We are amazing hosts. Say amazing hosts. All courtesy of Gulf Cap Real Estate, who will be giving you a little goodie bag with some information and goodies for you to take away as you decide, will I buy one house or two houses based on my resources? Sinamnayo. The hashtag is LV Launch on Twitter or Gulf Cap Real Estate. So coming next to the stage, we have a man with resources, and he's already smiling. Unajijua? I will let you introduce yourself. We all know he is the PS for housing, Bwana Hinga, and he said he doesn't sweat anymore. But luckily in Kisumu, you are allowed.
Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, distinguished guest, good morning. I'm very delighted to be here. And let me just say that for those who had issues with sweating, I understand that sweating is biblical. But a few friends from this area, they told me the problem with you, Mr. Hinga, is your English. It's not called sweating. it is perspiring. Your Excellency, I'd like to thank you so much because when I was appointed as a PS back in 2018, I had a chance to sit down with you, and I realized that this dream of housing, I was not just coming to start from scratch, but I was going to be riding on shoulders of generals that had seen the vision. And you explained to me that one day you went to Malaysia and you saw how Malaysia transformed within a fairly short period of time. And you came back then, you were the Minister for Roads and Housing, and you started Kibera Soweto. Your Excellency, just want to say that today we have the second phase of Kibera Soweto, which is 5,040 units that are nearing completion anytime now. So thank you very much for that vision. Your Excellency, a lot of people don't understand why housing. Knowing you're actually doing the finance bill that will go moto sana. Wengine wanasema nani hana kwao. I was born in an informal settlement in Nakuru called Bondeni. I live in Kaptembwa. So I know the indignity of majority of Kenyans. And you know the problem is that when you have a country where 65 to 70% of your urban dwellers live in slums, you have a problem. You have a big problem. We can disagree on how to solve the problem, but we cannot bury our heads in the sand and say we don't have a problem. And you know there is one thing that remains constant, it is land. Our land in Kenya is not expanding. Kisumu land is not doing land. Your land remains constant. But what kind of people are we when not a lazy person but a hard-working man and woman wakes up early in the morning, goes out and takes a living to come and live in a shanty? And while the front rows here, we have the dignity and the luxury of choosing which toilet you're going to use, because you have one is in suit, in a cloakroom, but they have to pay to use the toilet. What kind of dignity is it when we who are privileged in life, we pay for electricity based on market rate, but the people who are poor, they pay 149% more for electricity because of the legal connection? What kind of dignity is it when they have to pay 172% more for water, drinking water, than you and I? So we can disagree on how to solve the problem, but we cannot disagree or bury our heads and say we have no problem. And when you have a problem, and we have got countries that have figured out how do we solve this problem, we come together. And I want to say that so far, because of the sacrifices that you have made as Kenyans, we are making great progress in this country. Let me say that the largest public housing ever done in Kenya was Buruburu, which was done in the 1970s. And that was 5,000 units that was done for 15 years. Right now, as we speak, I have a housing development in Mukuru that is 13,000 units that we are completing within 4 years. That is courtesy of your sacrifices. Basically, I also said right here in Kisumu, we have got room housing, which is close to 6 billion shillings. I've been investing right here, that we're going to dignify every Kenyan. And you know, these houses I know, but when it's in Tandao, in Mkomo. So, initially wakasema, your pesa, tutakula. Then wakati nyumba inaanza kuja, wakasema hiyo ni Inga na girlfriend yake. So, nikashindwa mimi how many girlfriends can I have? But your Excellency, I want to say that when we have designed this program, is the same amount of money that you're paying to live in a shack is the same amount of money that you're going to pay to live in dignity and you own the home. So we have got houses that will only cost you 3,000 shillings to live in. The Excellency, that this housing agenda is not just about 4 walls and a roof. It's not about 4 walls and a roof. For those of you who are economists, you understand that when the FDR, who was the president of America then, came up with a program that translated itself into what today is called the American Dream. And the American Dream is anchored on the dignity of owning a home. They built as many homes as they could because housing is not just about 4 walls and a roof. It is about investing in ourselves. As I come to an end, I want to say that, as my good friend Shabal has said, this program also is not synonymous to poor quality. We're not just, some of you are saying we're building high-rise slums. That's what other naysayers are saying. But let me put it this way. Which high-rise slum will you ever see has got gas reticulation in every home? Well, Waziri is nodding because he knows that we are reticulating every home indiscriminate gas. So you know, we are putting fiber into every home. Combination of fiber into every home. We won last year in December in the whole of Africa. This program, people out there are recognizing the efforts that you're doing because we are putting smart homes. There is fiber connection in every home. So, ladies and gentlemen, start the journey of ownership today. In the next 60 days, we're going to start handing over keys to start a home ownership journey. Just press star 832#. You don't need to know Odinga or anybody else. It is at the comfort of your hand. Lastly, allow me to congratulate you, my friend Suleiman. You know, this country, we have a lot of people who talk, and there are very few people who do. I've had the privilege of knowing you for a very short period of time, and I have a great I have great respect for you. You're one man who honors your word. This development here is not going to be complete if we cannot have all communities living together. And that is why, Your Excellency, even though this property here is on private land, we as a ministry, and anchored in the affordable housing law today, it has allowed us to partner with private landowners so that we can be able to put affordable housing. Because affordable housing cannot just be on government land. So, Your Excellency, we're finishing the regulations, and I know you have told me, I've already sent my team here several times, to say that you're not just going to build houses for the rich people. And I think that is a remarkable, and that's what makes you a statesman, Your Excellency Prime Minister. So, good people, squeeze siongei sana, kazi inaendelea. I'm so happy that there is many Juakali artisan that today, over 4 billion shillings, we have ring fence for them, and they're today making doors and windows. This is how to build the economy of this country. So thank you so much. God bless you, and congratulations to LV Marina.
Bit. Asante sana. I've been told there's a slight change in the program. As you're aware, Kisumu is a city of intelligent people who love beautiful things and amazing things. 2 out of 3 people are professors, the others are doctors. The ones who don't want to go to school stop at around a master's na mambo kama hayo. The other ones we sent to the shop. Ochieng Squeezy alikataa masomo. Aliwachia wapi? Aliwachia masters. Hata tunasikia aibu. So, before we invite the Deputy Governor of Kisumu, and remember, at the end, we're going to speak to a doctor, engineer. Right before that, a professor. Right before that, a doctor. I'm sure you are the people we are talking about of masters, isn't it? So I'll ask one question, and the only answer is LV Marina. Are we together until that point? The only answer is LV Marina. Do you fancy closing high-stake deals with views of the waterfront from a premium convention center? Where can you do that? Where can you do that? So I told you, we are just going higher in rank based on how you went to school. Hopefully one day he'll be a professor, but for now, he's just a doctor. The Deputy Governor of Kisumu County, Dr. Matthews Owili. A round of applause. Ujaribu masomo hii mwaka.
Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, all protocol observed. Allow me to recognize in a special way the chair and the developers of LV Marina, which will change the landscape of the city of Kisumu forever. With your permission, I want to recognize the presence of the county speakers and members of the county assembly present. Elisha Jakorara and your team, please rise. We recognize you. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much. Allow me also to recognize the presence of county cabinet members, not just from Kisumu, from all over the country. If you are here, please rise. Asanteni sana, thank you. I have also seen quite a number of chief officers. I have seen quite a number of directors. Allow me also to recognize the presence of the chair of LAP Fund, my very good friend, Dr. Johnson Osoi. Asante sana, karibu sana. We are developing Makasembo courtesy of funds from LAP Fund. I would like at this point, Your Excellency, to invite up front the minority leader, the Honorable Junet Mohammed, to rise here and recognize members of Parliament present. I am advised that there is no politics here today, so it will just be the recognitions. Welcome, sir.
Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Baba Raila Odinga, and governors, His Excellency, the Governor of Kisumu, Governor Nyang' Nyong'o, and all governors and all members of Parliament. I will request them to stand up so that I can see the number of members who are here and I can say their names. We have here Honorable Nyikal, the Member of Parliament for Seme, Honorable Oron, Member of Parliament for Kisumu Central, Honorable Hassan Omar Mwinyi, Member of Parliament for Changamwe, Mheshimiwa Rosa Buyu, Kisumu West, Aduma War, Nyakach, then the Senator of Homa Bay, Mheshimiwa Kajwang, Kibra, Member of Parliament, Mwalimu Orero, Mheshimiwa Ivo Bara, Kabondo constituency, the Woman Rep of Kisumu City, Honorable Ruth Odinga, nominated Mheshimiwa Senator Beatrice, the MP for Butere, Mheshimiwa Tindi Mwale, the women rep for Mombasa County, Mheshimiwa Zamzam, Senator Mombasa, Mheshimiwa Faki, and Mheshimiwa Berzimba, the MP for Kisauni. Then we have the Member of Parliament for Lugari, Mheshimiwa Nabi. Then we have the Senator of the City of Nairobi, our Secretary General, Mheshimiwa Senator Edwin Sifuna. I think those are the members who have come today here to see for themselves what's happening in Kisumu. You know, there are very few marinas in Africa. This will be one of them. There's one in Mombasa, Mheshimiwa Shabal, the one English Point Marina. I didn't know until now why is it called Marina, until I went one day and I saw the bar is inside the ocean. That's when I was told that's why it's a marina. And secondly, listening to Honorable Abalawanga, after this marina is finished, we will call for a conference in Migori so that we discuss how to turn Migori from one street city to Kisumu city, because we have only one road ambaye punda anatumia, baiskeli anatumia, pikipiki anatumia, gari anatumia na kila kitu inatumia. Ya mwisho, Kisumu city has done a wonderful job. And I overheard in Parliament that they're saying they want to shift Parliament to another city. I don't know, is it because of the Mandamano that people come there every time? I saw them discussing the other day. So I will tell them, if you want to go to somewhere else, come to Kisumu. They should shift Parliament, because in South Africa, the government sits in Pretoria and Parliament sits in Cape Town. So this can be our Cape Town. They can bring Parliament here, and I'm proposing that to the majority leader so that he can come here and affirm that the people of Kiambu will be able to come and do their parliamentary business here. Mheshimiwa Majority Leader, karibu sana. Kuja usalimie wananchi.
Your Excellency Prime Minister, Your Excellency Raila Odinga, Mheshimiwa Shabal, our Governor Kisumu County, and my schoolmates, all protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be here this morning at the launch of LV Marina. Maybe before I say much, I was wondering when Junet was proposing that we move Parliament to Kisumu City because of demonstrations, whether Kisumu or Nairobi, sijui ni wapi maandamano. But I want to believe that a time will come in this country when people will demonstrate and not destroy property. Because if you are to build the beautiful cities that Kisumu will be the city of the future, we then must be in a country where people exercise their democratic rights, but also recognize the rights of others, including free movement of both goods and people, and also the right to own property and live peaceably without being hindered by anyone. And I want to believe in due course we are getting there. And when we get there, there will be no problem. But before we move Parliament, because it would take a lot to move Parliament to Kisumu, many a times members of Parliament, Your Excellency, prefer to go to Mombasa, Naivasha, but there is no better place to be than Kisumu City. Therefore, I want to believe that in due course it will be possible from the conference facilities in this facility, that you come up in this facility for not just Parliament, but parliaments from the East African region and the greater Sub-Saharan Africa, and also our county assemblies to hold their conferences in Kisumu City in a facility like this. Your Excellency, as my good classmate and old schoolmate P.S. Hinga has said, I also recall sometime last year but one, when I sat with you and you recounted to me your trips to Malaysia, to Singapore, and the journey to transform Kibra through affordable housing, and the struggles you had to go through even with the judiciary, with characters like Babayao Waitito. I remember you telling me he mobilized people to reject the construction of Kibra. And today, as P.S. Hinga says, that Soweto project is now a reality, courtesy of the vision that you held for this country. And we thank you and we honor you for that vision. And Your Excellency, as you prepare for the AU Commission elections coming month, we wish you all the best. And we are confident that that vision that you held for this country, you will, as MC said, extrapolate it to the greater African continent. And we are confident that under your leadership, more cities will grow. I must congratulate my Governor Nyong'o for having good managers like Obalawanga. You know, Obalawanga, my first time to come to Kisumu, I admired Riyadh Hills. And when you have said people without resources to find land elsewhere, I wondered whether I have adequate resources to move to Riyadh and be Baba's neighbor. But as Obalawanga has said, yes, people may hate you today as you move them from one location to another better location, and as you implement programs and policies that will transform Kisumu and our country. But time will vindicate you that what you are doing is the right thing. I look at Nairobi today, Your Excellency, and I ask myself, how long would it take to transform Nairobi to be a modern city? And I see Governor Sakaja is doing his best within the CBD. But if you think about the transformation that is needed in all the informal settlements around the city, and the proliferation of those informal settlements, and you realize every other place where there is an affluent community that settles, next to them is an informal settlement. It is time through affordable housing to stem that rise of informal settlements by projects like this, and I must congratulate all of you for this project. Congratulate my friend Sulaiman Shabal. I have been to Buxton and you've done an excellent job, and I want to pray and believe that you will do the same here. And when you do, many of us who come from cold places like Kikuyu, we will be happy to own a home in Kisumu City. I mean, where else can you live other than with the Luo pins? Najua nilisikia mwingine juzi akisema kuambia Mjaluo aongee Kiswahili ni kumtesa. Na ukikaa hapa usikize Kiingereza ndio unajua kweli kuuliza Luo pins to converse in Swahili ni mateso. So Sulaiman Shabal, ukijenga hapa tafadhali ujue utapandisha Kiingereza kidogo. Kwa hayo mengi, asanteni sana, and may God bless you. Congratulations to all of you. Baba, Prime Minister, thank you for sharing your vision, not just for our country, but even for this city with the rest of the world, and also affording to give what is private land for a development like this that will transform this city. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. You can see Kisumu City won't live without a new word. Kimani Ichungwa will be using that next week all day. So watch news for the word extrapolate.
Thank you. Another round of applause for the majority leader. Your Excellency, allow me to recognize the City Board of Kisumu, Engineer Kenya Ngaga and team. Karibuni sana. MD Kenya Railways, MD National Construction Authority, our county commissioner, Ambassador Elkanah Odembo. I saw my very good friend, Junior Odinga, and of course, the chair of Siaya County Public Service Board, Asanteni Sana. Now, I am inviting now our vision bearer for the county of Kisumu, Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o. He runs a very inclusive government where the poor and the rich live in harmony. Your Excellency, it is now your opportunity to come and address this very distinguished gathering and also recognize Excellency governors, and of course we have the CS in charge of energy who is also in the house. Tumpigie makofi yakikuja jameni. Asante sana, karibu Your Excellency.
And the word is those who have resources and those who don't, not poor and rich. Sawa. Do you have resources?
Thank you very much, DG. The Right Honorable Raila Odinga and our party leader, my dear friend, Bwana Shabal, my dear friend, Opiyo Wandayi, Waziri, and my dear friend Charles Hinga, and my fellow governors who are here today. And let me mention them so that you can see them. I begin from this side. Governor Wanga, Governor of Homa Bay. Then when I go this way, I can see Governor Otuoma, Paul, Governor of Busia. Then my very good friend, Governor Ken of Bungoma, Ken Lusaka. I think Jim Orengo is somewhere there. My glasses are weak. My dear friend Jim Orengo, Governor of Siaya. Have I left anybody out? Sakaja, where is he? Sorry. Governor Sakaja, Governor of Nairobi, sorry. Thank you so much. I think the other dignitaries have been recognized, plus my friend Edwin Sifuna, Secretary General of the ODM, welcome, and all other guests. I will be very brief, Bwana Prime Minister. First of all, I thank you, and my dear friend, my dear friend Shabal. I really thank you because these things had been on the board for a very long time, as Shabal was telling you. And when we went to Mombasa for a committee meeting of the Senate, of the Council of Governors, we actually went to your project one afternoon and saw it. And I did believe that it can be done. In my manifesto for Kisumu County, I said that we must stop walking with a chicken and begin flying with the eagles. Today I can say that flying with the eagles is a reality. So I would like you, combined, please give a big applause to the Prime Minister and to Shabal for this very good project they have brought to Kisumu. And you can see it behind me. Please, this is something that we are very proud of, and this is something that the whole country will be proud of. A lot has been said about it, but one of the things that is so important about it is the fact that it is an inclusive community. Secondly, you may not have noticed, it is near the airport and the lake. Two means of transport which will focus people's attention when they arrive in Kisumu from anywhere. So my dear friend Rosa Buyu, who is the MP for this area, a present has been presented to you. You can now go have bragging rights in the villages and say, during my time as MP, this happened in Kisumu. I think I'll give you the bragging right to do that, and I think that is important. So finally, Bwana Prime Minister, I don't want to be long because time is not on our side. As we begin this journey to build this very important housing project, we as leaders should give information to our constituents or our citizens that work is available here and trade is also available here, because people who are working here will need eggs, they will need food. So a lot of supply from the agricultural sector will come here. People who are working here will perhaps need shelter in the city. So there's a backward linkage and a forward linkage in this project that we should take, you should take an opportunity for the benefit of our people. We will go how we go away today when we have finished this project, and I'm sure as we come to Kisumu, as land and the airport, we shall always be observing the progress being made. So, Bwana Shabal, unfortunately, because the airport is very near, it will give these whole visitors who are here today, everybody here today, the opportunity to keep on watching what is happening, and therefore accountability is on your side. So thank you so much. I see my friend Aduma War yawning kidogo, so that I don't want to keep you too long. So on behalf of Aduma War and on behalf of all of us, could I request the Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, to come up and speak to you today as the brain behind this project, together with Bwana Shabal. Bwana Raila, please. Thank you very much, Prime Minister. And I don't want to say more, because very soon we shall be addressing you with yet another title. Let's clap for Prime Minister, please.
Hiya. You may be seated, please. All our friends who have come and visitors who have come from outside Nyanza, good morning. Hamjambo. Happy New Year. Thank you very much. I'm so delighted to have opportunity to talk to you people in the new year. Bringing to you greetings from outside Kenya, from some of the friends of Kenya whom I've been meeting these last few days. Now we also welcome here to LV Marina. But now we're LV Marina, but this ground where we are here is also known as Kisumu Molasses Plant. So I think it is perfect in order to explain to you people, because I know that the media is going to be making a lot of speculations about how and why we are doing this. This plant, which is next door here, was put up here at the time of the oil crisis of 1972-73. The government came up with the idea of setting up a plant to manufacture ethanol from sugar production, and that this ethanol will be blended with the fuel, a ratio of about 25%, to reduce the cost of imports of oil, which was being done at that time, because the price of crude had gone up so high. Then the construction then started. The government went into partnership with some other companies. But while that was going on, because then OPEC had been established, and OPEC kept on increasing the prices of crude. But then, all of a sudden, the oil prices began to go down. The crude price began to go down. And the oil companies here were not very much in favor of blending, because they would prefer to import the crude from outside, because they do make their money actually in the high seas before the product land here. So they themselves also sabotage the construction of this plant. So later on, the government decided to auction that plant. That plant was auctioned, and we bought it in an auction. We were the highest bidder at the fall of the hammer. When we bought it, there was issue of land. They said that we were only selling the assets, not the land. Then we said, of what use are those equipment? What use are those buildings on the ground to somebody if you're not selling it with the land? And they said you should negotiate the land separately with the government. And therefore they decided not to transfer to us. We had paid a deposit. So we went to court. After a lengthy process, eventually the court ruled against us, and we kept quiet. Then later on, they did not now find any buyer. They asked for the second lowest. Second lowest was not interested. The third lowest was not interested. So the matter ended there. Later on now, the government decided to invite people again to express interest. We expressed interest. Again, we are the lowest. So we said now we do this. This time they agreed to also transfer with the land. So we paid for the land separately and for the plant also. That's how we took over. Then we entered into partnership with the South African company. And eventually we managed to complete the construction of the plant and launched it and started manufacturing ethanol from molasses. This plant was put up here in Kisumu because of the reason of the proximity to the sugar plants, manufacturing companies in the region. Moroni, Shemelil, Miwani, Mumias, and Zoya. But then, unfortunately, in the process of of this confusion, when the plant was not being operated, Muhoroni came up also with another ethanol plant. This is called agrochemicals. So now Muhoroni was now not available as a supply of raw material to this plant. Then Mumias, which was the biggest source of supply, also decided to put up their own ethanol plant in Mumias. So we now found ourselves short of raw materials for this plant here. We looked around. Of course, we are getting from Sony, from Chemelil, Miwani had gone dead, from Zoya, but all that was inadequate. And on the other side, there was Butali that was established, and also West Kenya in the west, in the other side. So we now had a problem of raw materials. Sometimes we used to bring molasses from Kagera in Tanzania. That was too far, logistically very difficult. Then we were also bringing molasses from Uganda, from Kakira. That became our only source. We were importing from Kakira. Then Kakira also set up their own ethanol plant. So therefore, we ran out of raw materials. So this plant here was closed because of lack of raw materials to produce ethanol. And then now we decided to think out of the box. So we started to think out of the box, and that's how we came up with this idea of this project. But we also said that plant is there. As you know, the town has now expanded this side. So a manufacturing plant, a chemical manufacturing plant within the town here is no longer quite tenable. So this decision has been made that we relocate that plant. And in the process of the government now reorganizing the sugar industry, we will transfer that plant to one of the sugar mills, either Chemelil or Zoya, so that that plant can also continue to manufacture, or Yala Swamp. That's the reason why we decided that this project here is the most ideal for this region. And I negotiated with my brother, Shabal, and we agreed that we should go ahead with this project. It is a project whose time has come around this area. And we are talking about housing. Hinga has already told you how we talked about this affordable housing issue. I was Minister for Roads, Public Works and Housing. I am the one who first went and introduced amendment to the Housing Act, which had been there from 1966, the time I was made a minister, to come up with a housing policy that was responsive to the needs of the country at that time. Now, this issue of rural-urban migration is a permanent phenomenon. But this matter was never addressed properly by successive regimes from independence. You remember, people after independence started to migrate from the rural areas into towns. The government of the day at that time decided to stop people from coming. Mzee said, Rudi mashambani. Even songs were coined. Mzee kasema rudi mashambani, hakuna kazi. People went back to land and found nothing useful to do, eventually came back to town. The colonial government was addressing this issue properly. You see most of these estates in our towns. Even in Kisumu here, you had Shorimoyo, you had Lumumba, you had Makasembo, and so on. That were built at that time. In Nairobi, you have so many of them. In Mombasa. Nothing happened after independence. So people came into towns and there was no housing. As a result, people started to put up structures, informal structures. And the government now christened them informal settlements. That's how we ended up with Kibra, we ended up with Madare, Mukuru, Wanjenga, and all those, the equivalent here in Kisumu, in Kakamega, in Mombasa, and so on and so forth. So I went to Malaysia and Singapore and saw what they had done to deal with this issue, because rural-urban migration is a permanent phenomenon. People will move from the rural areas to go to urban centers in search of employment. So you need to address it. And the way they're addressing it is a comprehensive policy, where you deal with issue of shelter, issue of employment, issue of education, issue of health, and recreation. So all those units that they were building there in Malaysia had those in itself. You have got houses, but then also you have workshops where people work. And then you have got a market where they put their wares. And then you have schools where people go. Then you have got a health center. And then you have got a social amenities where people go and exercise. So that is the integrated development, urban development, which they did in Malaysia, and also in Korea, and the same thing in Singapore. So this was my idea, that we do this in all our urban centers. We started in Kibra, We did also one unit in Kiambu. We also did in Mombasa. But now this is a responsibility which is in the hands of Mr. Hinga and his people. But I'm happy that they are now agreed to work together with the private sector, because this is not something that can be left purely to the government. They need an input of the private sector in order to be able to deal with this challenge of shelter in our country. So it serves me to confirm Kisumu's emerging status as a progressive city and county that is preparing for the future. And I really want to thank the governor for the work that is done here in Kisumu. The future belongs to the cities that offer higher standards of life, including better homes, better schools for our children, good hospitals, good social amenities, and good jobs. I believe that the best way to give every resident a stake in a city or an urban center is to give them a good home or house. That way, we create a city where every member has more stake in its security, health, and continued prosperity. This project is a contribution to the realization of that family-held belief. I must thank the leadership of the county and the management of the city, the deliberate efforts to position Kisumu as the go-to place, not just in Western Kenya, but in the country and in the region. This is confirmed when I was in this week. I was in Harare, I was in Joburg, I was in Windhoek in Namibia, I was in Haberone in Botswana, I was in Mbambane in Lesotho. But all those places there, they know that the cleanest city in town, they will tell you about Kigali, and they will tell you about there's a city in Benin, Cotonou, and then they tell you about Kisumu. Kisumu is always there. The proliferation of slums in our urban centers, Kisumu included, has led to the inability of the county authorities to provide adequate services to their citizens. Many of our cities and towns face problems of securing and distributing sufficient supplies of clean water to the residents, ensuring effective solid waste management and proper sanitation. In addition to challenges in providing necessities like electricity, health centers, schools, and playgrounds, among other basics. So I just want to say that this groundbreaking is just the beginning of what I believe will be a game changer, not just for Kisumu, but for Kenya as a whole. LB Marina will create jobs, attract tourists, and stimulate local businesses. With its close proximity to the airport and its integrated design, we expect this development to position the city and the Western Kenya as a destination of choice for global investors, businesses, and visitors. We hope that visitors will come to Kisumu, and conferences will be held here in Kisumu, and this will help the people of Kisumu. It will help the economy of this region generally, because as you know, Kisumu is equidistant. Kakamega is next door, Busia, just over there, Bungoma, you've got Kericho, you've got Nandi Hills, Kapsabet, you've got Kisii, Nyamira, Homa Bay, Kisumu Dala. So we welcome our friend from Mombasa. I want to tell you a story about Mombasa and Kisumu. You know, they built a railway line from Mombasa all the way to Kisumu. It was called Kenya-Uganda Railway. Now somebody will ask, why was it called a Uganda Railway and it only ended in Kisumu? Reason is because at that time Kisumu was part of Uganda. It was the capital of Eastern Province of Uganda, which went all the way up to Nakuru. And that's what Idi Amin was trying to claim. So now in those days, there was no lifts or cranes. People used to carry goods on the back. When the ships brought goods in Mombasa, they would be lifted and put on the wagons, the train. Then the train will bring them all the way to Kisumu. And when they arrived here, then they will now remove them from the train and put them into the ship to be taken across to Port Bell in Uganda. So people would remove the goods, the bags, and take down to the ship. When they came here, they found people who are much stronger. They said, hawa watu ni stronger than wale Waswahili huko Mombasa. So that's how they started to import labor from here to Mombasa. And so we found the Jaluos and Banyalas working there in Mombasa, and the dock workers. That is the history. Now walipofika kule wanakaa Mombasa, baadaye wanapata buibui. Sasa kupata buibui, sasa akienda kufanya kazi, anafanya kazi, akirudi namna hii anaingia, oh mwanangu, najua umechoka kabisa, karibu. Sasa kuna maji moto imewekwa pale ya kuosha mguu. Karibu mwanangu. Alafu anafisha mguu, chakula iko tayari. Anakaa. Jamaa anasahau ya kwamba bibi aliwacha hapa nyumbani. Bibi aliwacha nyumbani, anatawaliwa na ndugu yake hapa. Sasa jamaa anakaa, anasahau kabisa alikuwa mmoja bibi na watoto hapa. Anakaa mpaka jamaa anakufa. Sasa jeneza ndio inakuja. Ndio wakasema Mombasa kuingia ni harusi, kutoka ni matanga. Asanteni sana. Welcome.
Well, let's appreciate His Excellency for those great words of wisdom as we be on our feet for the national anthem of the Republic of Kenya, which will signify the end of our engagement. Your Excellency, I am asked by the Governor of Kisumu to tender the apologies of His Excellency Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir, the Governor of Mombasa. National anthem. Well, I'll request the rest of us to remain seated as His Excellency takes leave. And Nick, you have some service announcements. You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the VIPs, the dignitaries who came to LV Marina launch, I want to thank you very much. On your way out through the experience zone, remember to get your goodie bag that has all the details of what LV Marina and all Gulf Cap Real Estate does. Happy shopping, happy investing, and may you have a wonderful day. LV Marina from Gulf Cap Real Estate.
Imagine waking up to the gentle hum of water